Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We Need to Talk. I'm your host, Malynda, and I'm joined by my co-host, Karmel.
Hello, everyone.
Today in studio, we have a very special guest. We have actor, singer, and photographer and creator of 21 Sundays, Miss Ashli Haynes. We're going to be talking about 21 Sundays a little later in the show, but 21 Sundays is a monthly series of pop-up shop events featuring businesses owned by Black women in Los Angeles, and it's starting on February 23rd. And as an actress, we're going to be able to see Ashli very soon as the character of Courtney on Lena Waithe's groundbreaking comedy 20s, premiering March 4th on BET. Welcome to the show, Ashli.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How you
made
doing?
Me sound so important. Thank you.
Because you are.
You are. Of course you are. It's so funny when we do have guests and I read their bios, they're like, oh,
Wow.
I feel like I did a lot.
I'm doing okay then.
Let's pause for a minute. I need to give myself a pat on the back. Thank you.
I love it. How's everyone's weekend been?
It's been good.
It's been
good.
great.
How's your Black History Month been?
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Educating folks left and right.
I know. I love a lot of posts that I've been seeing on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, you better let them know.
Right?
Right. And I've been
Man.
learning a lot too. Like I think it's really great first of all, it's true. Black history is American history.
It's American history,
But
absolutely.
it's so great to be reminded and also to become aware of folks that maybe we didn't grow up learning about because America's racist. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Is there anything you guys have learned this year that you didn't know before? Carmel knows everything, but he's like a historian. He loves. If I'm like, what? He was teaching me stuff. I'll be like, when did that happen? Was there anything that you've learned this month, particularly, that you didn't know before?
I learned that there was a woman who refused to give her seat on the bus to a white guy, like 10 months prior to Rosa Parks, and she was only 15 years old.
Really?
Yeah, but then a lot of the leaders of the civil rights movement just were saying, because of, I guess, the fact that she was only 15 and also other things going on in her life, that, it wasn't the time for her to
want
be
to make
the
her
face
like
of,
the face of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how many times things like that did happen, where people made movements and did things like that and they just weren't recognized.
Right.
Because I'm sure she wasn't the only one.
Yeah,
I mean,
she couldn't have
come
been.
on. We know how we are.
Yeah, right.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm sitting down. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't moving for you. So that's interesting.
I
That's
often
interesting.
wonder about Rosa Parks and why she became the face for that. But now hearing that, I'm not surprised. And it kind of just validates the thought that I have. It's probably someone else doing this. I know if my mom was back in that day, she wouldn't have gave up that spot either.
Right, my mom
You
wouldn't
know?
have.
Right, yeah. So, like,
Especially after a long day's work. Come on.
Yeah,
for
no.
what? No.
Right. What about you, Carmel?
You're right. I don't. I don't say I don't know everything. So I
You
didn't
know
learn.
a lot, though, and I love
I
that you
do.
took the time to learn it.
So I didn't learn anything this Black History Month other than what people don't know. so
There you go.
That's what's
Let's-
been crazy to me.
yes,
Like,
yes,
really, you
yes.
did not know that? Speaking of which, like even the post you saw where the woman tried to tell me how Alexander Dumas's dad was French.
Oh, yep.
When I
Yep.
said he was in the French army, like it's just
Like,
funny.
you- yeah.
People don't. I just said
Because
that.
I laughed at your comment. I was like,
Right. I just said that.
so funny.
No, nothing new, but I think I'm enjoying seeing people post more, even people who aren't probably like historians or like seriously into Black history, like just average cats. Like, oh, I know this cat did this. Someone posted about how the clothing line Lacoste was started by a Black man, a Black tennis player, and just to see people like, oh my God, and then just starting to think how long ago that was and what he went through to put that line out there and the crocodile and all of that represents. It's just
Right.
like you can just see people just like, oh man, like it's heavy. And so I've just been enjoying that, seeing people post stuff that for some reason this year more than any time I've seen
Yeah.
before, people
Yeah,
are
yeah,
really
yeah.
into
Yeah.
Black history.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, it has definitely been seeing what people didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a simple thing like, your summers as a child were lit because of a super soaker, because of a Black man.
Right.
You didn't know that. You eat
Nope.
peanut butter every day and don't know who invented it.
Yeah.
Just things like that. People are like, oh my God, I had no idea. It's like, oh, this is part of your history. I did not know this,
No, I was going to say, people don't know it because they don't teach it in
They don't,
school.
at
They
all.
don't teach us these things. And it's crazy and it's wild to realize all of the different ways in which racism is harnessed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's
yes,
and
yes.
it's like it's not always blatant, it's not always in your face. Like sometimes it's in the things that aren't said or the actions that aren't taken. But I think the internet is a beautiful thing.
It is. It can be.
It can
Right,
be.
right.
Because I think like the racism from like omission, things we don't say or aren't told or aren't educated on, I think sometimes are more damaging. Like I loved Ford versus Ferrari
I
this
still
year.
haven't seen that.
Oh, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't know that Henry Ford got a lot of his ideas from, as you just mentioned, the peanut butter inventor, George Washington Carver.
Okay.
He taught Ford how to build cars. That's why they call...
Had no idea.
Yeah, so that's why they call huge factories plants.
Huh.
Because George Washington taught him how to build things faster through some stuff he was doing in the laboratory. Completely like disjointed from stuff he was already doing, but he just had this crazy mind.
Wow.
And when Henry Ford tapped in, hey, I want to learn how to do this, he showed him how to do it. Because there's no reason to call a plant. Like,
Right.
it has nothing to do with plants. But
Right.
George Washington Carver taught him how to build cars faster. That wasn't in Ford versus Ferrari, but that's okay.
But you learned that. You
I knew it going in.
Oh,
So
okay,
I thought,
okay.
would they say something about it? No, of course they
Of course
won't.
they would.
Of course they won't. But that's okay. That's all right. Because in the movie,
I
he's
love
actually
that.
past Henry Ford. Now it's Henry
Okay.
Ford Jr., so it doesn't
Okay.
matter. But anyways, I think it said something that would have been cool. But
But it's
whatever.
Hollywood.
It's
so-
Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
One day.
Maybe.
Well, speaking of things that people don't know and things that we don't talk enough about, we are going to get into Black female empowerment because I personally think the Black women are not recognized and acknowledged enough for the incredible things that they've done for this
I agree.
country,
I agree.
that they're doing currently. So I just want to talk a little bit about some Black trailblazers and Black women, past or current, that have really made a difference that people may not even recognize. One of the first ones I want to bring up that I think people don't remember or even talk about enough, but I've been seeing her name a lot this month because I think people are trying to learn, is Shirley Chisholm. And I think people don't realize that she was the first Black woman that actually did run for president.
Right.
And I always wondered, like, God, if she was around now, like, and able to run for president, how far would she get? You know, how much support would she have? Would people be totally for it? Because, you know, everybody wanted Michelle Obama to run, and everybody would vote for Michelle Obama or Oprah or whatever. So I just wonder, you know, if it was during a time when, I say this loosely, that race is more accepted, you know, she ran, I really wonder how she would be received.
I think because social media allows us to see more of the character and personality of a Michelle Obama, I think that's why she's so much more embraced.
Right.
I don't really know Shirley Chisholm's, you know, quirks and how she acts and
True.
things you see on
True.
Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. So if she was a more approachable person, she might be, I just don't know. I think she would get further along. I think that's what makes Michelle such a viable option if she did run. But just from the standpoint of being, I guess, a valid person, sometimes when you have all the right credentials as a Black woman, that makes you a threat, and she might not get far. I'm like, oh,
That's
she got
true.
too much going on.
That's
so
true.
it's kind of a weird dichotomy like that. Like, is she too good? So she's not going to be slanted. We can't force her to do what we want. She's not like a puppet. I don't know. So not to say Michelle or anyone else would, but that's sometimes how people look at things.
Yeah.
Right. I think honestly right now, the environment is far more ripe than it's ever been to elect a Black woman for president.
Why do you think that is?
I think because right now, I mean, I hate to say, I don't want to. Well, yeah, right now I think
Speak
it's
your mind, girl.
yeah,
Go ahead.
It's definitely
Don't hold back.
Black women are definitely trending, and not just Black women, but like celebration of Black women and their Blackness, and us feeling empowered and supporting one another. But also, I mean, first of all, like for all of time, Black women have always been imitated and Blackness on other
They've been
people
appropriated from, for sure.
appropriated
I think,
from
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
absolutely. But now it's like we finally have this, now we're taking up space, and it's somehow socially acceptable now, whereas, and that's like a very recent thing, I want to
That's
say,
such
in
a
the
good
last
point.
like
Yeah,
2 years,
couple years.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think it's
so,
because our voices are getting louder, or why do you think people are paying attention more?
I definitely think it's because our voices are getting louder, but I also think it has a lot to do with the internet and social media. So it's like, you know, people sharing facts can't be ignored, especially when those facts are on your screen 24/7. You know what I mean? And Black women are also using social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what have you, not just to like for not just for like light fluff, but for opportunities to socially protest or hold companies accountable or share personal experiences, and then everybody's like jumping on board and saying, I experienced that too.
Right.
And there's just power in numbers.
Right. Yeah, and I think like having a hashtag is as cliche as it sounds now, it actually really has been make a difference on social media. Having something like Me Too or Oscar So White to attach your name to does give you a huge presence. And I love that it's Black women that are starting these. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna say something finally, because people have not been listening to me. But I love that we have the platforms to be able to do that.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm curious to see like where it's gonna lead to.
And I think also it's some of the people that maybe not are the person now that we speak of or is so highlighted in the media, but people like a Condoleezza Rice, who's been around for so long, that's held such a high regard in our country, and just having her been here this long, it's now set the stage for these women to say, I can say something, because I've seen someone, at least from her, hold this office with such dignity. I can be a little crazy and say my thing because I have someone that I feel comfortable with. I seen her do it. I can. And Condoleezza Rice is not a person who's very she's not pushing the envelope. She's not doing anything crazy, but it's someone we can see. Sometimes often it's just that. If I can just see someone that looks familiar, that's doing something big, then I feel a little bit more secure to say what I want to say.
Representation. Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shift over to like politics, and we've seen in statistics and polls and everything that not only is the Black vote super important, but the Black female vote is super important. So why do you think that is? Because if you don't get Black women on your side, you ain't gonna win.
No, I think, like I've always said this, coming from a comedic background, when I perform, like you always have to get the women first. If they're not laughing, the men are not gonna laugh. So I think with the Black woman, I think if you get the Black woman vote, you get the Black male vote. And sometimes that's not the other way around. Like the Black men vote, Black women can be, I ain't voting that. They're very like, it's if you know Black women, you're in the household, you know it's the woman's gonna pull the man versus the other way around. Right. So I think that's a big reason why.
Well, I just want to say, I think Black women have always, we've always held power, right? And we've always held influence. Like, yes, we've generally get overlooked time and time again. But just looking back at the suffragette movement and the Black suffragette movement, and
because they are two separate things. Yeah,
they are two separate things. But for Black women gave fuel and power to the white suffragette movement until they decided to, split off and say all these hateful racist things. We've always been politically driven, and we've always had that passion, and it's not because of, we just want to be seen as equal. It's out of necessity. It's like we have to go to the polls. We have to be loud. We have to not stop and keep going when it comes to fighting for social justice. And that's because we are, I think it was Malcolm X that said it, like Black women are the most disrespected, most like abused group in the country. Like that's still true today. Yeah. So if we're not sharing our voices and creating change, nobody's going to do that for us.
Amen. I completely agree with
that. And
I
think it's in the Black woman's DNA. From the beginning.
For sure.
Like holding a place of like, a pharaoh or pharaohs. That's not uncommon in Black history in Africa. That's not, you don't really see that in European history. It's not, if the woman's in power, it's almost like something happened, someone died or whatever. And even then they're not trying to keep her in power.
Yeah, because if you look at just like, ancient Europe and how women became queens, it's because somebody died to put them in power.
Yeah, but there's a lot of pharaohs from Nefertiti on to, where even the goddesses are not on different levels. They're at the same level as a male god. So I think that's just part of the DNA. So it's only about time that it started coming out in our country, in our history. Should reflect that.
Absolutely.
I just got chills thinking about this because I saw a meme the other day that was for Black History Month that was like, our history didn't start here, like it was taken away from us. And it just makes me think how much we don't know about the history of our people because we were taken from our home. And just think how many kings and queens were taken and made slaves.
Wow. Yeah.
It's harrowing to think about. And just thinking about how many, you're talking about Black women, but how many queens and princesses and stuff were probably brought over on ships and didn't actually get to live out their royalty. It breaks my heart.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Think about that.
That is heartbreaking.
Right.
But I think we also should realize, and this isn't a but, it's just an addition to.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know, like, there's so much in us, in our DNA, like you were saying, that we still carry from our African lineage. So, you know, for us to say, oh, we're all kings and queens. We are. Yes, we are.
Right.
I love it.
I
am royalty.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually went to South Africa a few years ago, and it was my first time, you know, on the continent of Africa, and I was amazed by the similarities shared between that culture and American culture.
Like, give a few examples.
As far as, like, I mean, even when it comes to wearing protective hairstyles, you know what I mean? Or just like that kinship, or it's like this natural thing that happens amongst Black people where, like, there's just a level of comfort, right? And familiarity.
Like when you see a Black person at the store, you give that nod, like you acknowledge each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, not that I don't think, I wasn't conscious of any certain, like, I wasn't consciously having any certain expectations, but to see that, oh, maybe, like, I am the way that I am because it's ingrained in me, because it's in my DNA. It's not a choice or necessarily how I've been conditioned, but, like, if I can go back to, you know, Mama Africa and witness the same relationships and dynamics between people here in this country that I've never visited, and then feel that kinship with them and have people welcome me home, it's like, yeah, that is carried on, and we do have that here, even if we aren't consciously aware of it.
Yeah.
That nod is universal. It is universal.
100%.
And it's so funny to explain that to people. Like, why do y'all do that? I said, honestly, I don't know.
We just do it.
We just do it. It's just so natural. And I don't care where I'm at. If I see someone, it could be the whitest of white places. If one brother walks in, it's just instant connection. I don't know why.
It's a form of security, though. Like, I see you, you see me. If anything happens, we running out together.
Right.
Like, we cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it is. It's we're family, even though I've never met you before. And I kind of love that about the Black community in general. I love that our experiences that are shared, even if we're from different states or from around the world, like, they're all pretty similar and common. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that we've come together. And that, I always say this, I'm like, that's why they hate us, because no matter what, we, like, have joy. We have, like, some form of happiness and connection.
Yep.
So, okay, so I want to hear from you guys, who are some Black women that have influenced you in your life and in your careers and in things that you do.
So I'll start.
Yeah, come on, Karmel.
With my burgeoning coffee company, Black Brew, darkest, richest, boldest, get you some.
That commercial right there.
Madam C.J. Walker.
Oh my God, I was just thinking Madam C.J. Walker.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think that for me, in her entrepreneurship and when she did it, that time, like, you don't do that. There's no way. And then to become as wealthy as she was, and all the things that, you know, started from that. I think for me, it's a no-brainer.
So for those who don't know who Madam C.J. Walker is, can you let them know? And if you don't know, shame on you. But go ahead.
Well, if you use shampoo, that's pretty much it.
Or hot comb.
Or hot comb, yeah. I mean, there's so many things, but she's basically hair care products is what she started. And she's known for that and many other things.
And she was the first Black female millionaire in the United States.
She was the first self-made
millionaire, female millionaire, not even just Black.
Yeah.
Female millionaire. Yeah. So I feel like, isn't there, like, a biopic coming out about her?
Please.
If there isn't,
please, dear God.
There should be.
There should be.
Did I make this up?
You could be sourcing it right now.
I'm manifesting it to happen. And I'm surprised that it hasn't happened, because that story that's an American dream story.
Right. Absolutely.
Who would play her? See, I automatically thought Queen Latifah for some reason, but she just played Bessie Smith, so she can't. But then again, Chadwick Boseman has literally played everybody in Black history. Yeah. So I don't see why.
What about? I can't remember her name from the
Octavia Spencer.
Oh, Octavia Spencer.
Octavia Spencer could do
Wait,
it.
isn't she?
Is she?
Did I have a dream about? Okay.
Oh my God. You know what? I think I may have read that she is.
I feel like she is.
Like, it's some Netflix thing. I don't know if it's a series or a film.
We got phones. We got these smartphones.
Because I know I'm not making this up. Yeah, Madam C.J. Walker. Here we go. Netflix. Octavia Spencer.
See?
Here we
Okay.
go.
Here we go.
All right.
I'm excited to see
March
that.
Yes.
20th. Okay, it's coming
wow.
up.
Okay, next month. All right.
All right, on Netflix. See, Netflix got that money. It's a series actually.
Oh wow.
Okay, I'm excited. See, I know it wasn't crazy.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
That's
know
okay.
it wasn't crazy.
I'm excited.
All right,
All right,
Netflix.
dope.
What about you, Ashley?
Yeah, so definitely Madam C.J. Walker. I think just reading about her story as a little girl, it just made me feel like I was going to be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was possible, you know? Angela Bassett. I just love her. And I think she's amazingly talented. There's something like she has this presence, but she also doesn't get the credit that she deserves.
At all.
Yeah.
She's so talented.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
For some reason with her, she feels so unapologetically a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like she just oozes this, and like whatever role she plays, just walking on the red carpet, you just feel it. Like even if you're not there, you just see it. Like that is a black woman.
woman.
Like oh my god.
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna surprise people with who I say. There's so many people I can go back in the day, but this is a current person that I don't like any of her movies. I don't think she's funny. However, I am very inspired by her story and who she is, and she's very unapologetically herself. I'm so proud of Tiffany Haddish.
Okay.
And I just, her humor's not my humor.
You don't think she's funny?
I don't think she's funny at all. I think she's gorgeous. But whenever I hear her talk about her story, I like cry because I'm like, I just want you to succeed. I'm so happy she's succeeding, and it makes me so happy to see somebody just rise that way. And I think even if you, for me, at least for Black people, like even if you aren't like a fan of their work, I'm just happy to see a Black person get out of a stereotype and get out of a bad situation and become somebody that other people can look up to. So I'm grateful for her for existing and for people giving her a chance and her for never giving up, because I really think that she embodies what a lot of people in the arts are trying to do. But
That's a great choice, and I'm really shocked.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm
really
gonna
shocked.
shock people.
Yeah.
I just can't get down with the comedy though. I can't.
And see,
I give her a chance. I want to support her, but I'm like, I don't.
And
know.
I've known Tiffany for a minute, and we've done shows together.
Yeah.
And her style of humor is not my style of
Yeah.
humor. And to see, literally to be like in a green room with her or in a hallway just chopping it up, and it felt like the week after that, Girls Trip hit, and then there's
and she just exploded.
And I was just talking to you.
Yeah.
And knowing it'd been 10, 15 years of her, grinding to get to that point.
Like working really hard.
Super hard. And then I could see how people could see it's an overnight success, but like, no, like she's been putting this work in for a minute, and to know how low and the places she's been through to come to that point, I completely agree.
It's always overnight for people that aren't involved.
Yeah, always.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, no, this ain't overnight. This has been a long journey.
Lot of years.
And this is sleepless nights. I didn't have no food. I was living off top ramen peanut butter sandwiches. So yeah, she's a big one for me. I really love watching her rise.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No one would think that. No one would think
the
that
last
at all.
person.
Yeah, I feel that way about Simone Biles.
Oh, really?
I think she's so underrated, but she's the best gymnast that's ever existed.
Underrated or overrated?
Underrated.
Underrated.
I think she's underrated.
Really?
I think she should get. I think if she were white, she'd get a lot more attention.
Oh, that's interesting, because I feel like she has gotten a lot of attention.
I think she has, because you just can't not give it to her. She's done tricks and techniques that are like
that nobody else.
They can't even
like
do.
they're named after her.
They're named after her.
Yeah.
And they like deducted her a point for something she did because no one else could do it.
Yeah.
Which is like, what?
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was mad about that.
Yeah.
I was like, so
Like,
wait,
wait.
she's getting docked for being the best? What kind of sense does that make? That's jealousy.
Complete jealousy.
Oh yeah.
Complete jealousy.
Wasn't it? Where was that competition? Was it like in Europe or something?
Yeah, like world championships or something like that.
Yeah. She got docked a point because they're like, nobody else can do that, so you can't either.
Wow.
I know.
What?
Actually, you know what? I think I did see that.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
She's incredible.
She is
I
incredible.
haven't watched her. I think she has a story on either Hulu or Netflix. It's a Lifetime story, so it's probably not going to be good.
Wow. Lifetime?
But come on, we know Lifetime, y'all. We still watch it though.
I think it's getting better though, right?
Is
Lifetime? I haven't
Is
watched
it?
it since 93.
I don't know.
Since 93.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a long time.
Yeah, no. All
I just
the
threw a
stories
number
are
out there.
still
I
the
just threw a number
same.
out there. I don't know.
You ain't missing out. So why do we think, I mean, I can say a number of reasons, but I'm curious to know you guys. Why do you think it's important to continue acknowledging Black women, even this month? And we're about to go into Women's History Month, so I better see some Black women getting acknowledged. But why do we think it's important, and why do we think people are afraid to give Black women the acknowledgement that they deserve?
Wow, that's a great question. I think it's important because A, representation matters. B, because when other people see you do it, it inspires them. First, it lets them know that they can do it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it inspires them to become better or the best version of themselves. Like if you're a light, people just want to shine their light right along with you. And also, I think it's incredibly important because how else could we possibly acknowledge how far we've come?
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for a Black woman to become successful at any feat is a damn
Huge,
miracle.
right?
It's huge, especially because
all of the blocks,
obstacles,
yeah, and obstacles,
right?
absolutely.
So it's like if we're achieving like amazing levels of success, that needs to be celebrated,
Amen to that.
and not just for a day or a month, like forever, for all of eternity.
Amen. Karmel?
I think it's important because I think celebrating Black women needs to become standardized and normalized. Like I think, like for my daughters, when I talk to them about, I don't also often make it a Black girl thing, like, oh, you as a Black girl, but I do give them that. But I just try to talk to them about being successful. Just here's what we need to do. Here's what's going to happen, and not, setting them up for success, but also not putting like hindrances on them or expect like, this is going to happen. Like, let's just go for it. Because I know they're going to have those things. Those things will come up.
Right,
but if they're not thinking about it, they're not waiting for it, they're not expecting it, they may just run right through it.
Right.
So I think, and also as they see women accomplishing those things, if it's Ava DuVernay and people like that, they're like, oh, yeah, what my dad said is true. This person's doing it. And it just moves on. If we're always like siloing it to just 1 month, then there's other 11 months we're like, okay, you're not, it's not constantly in your mind versus seeing like every other white woman being like celebrated and there's all these things about them. Oh, okay, well that's cool.
Yeah.
But like, where's the person that looks like me? So
Right.
I think we have to keep doing it so it becomes more normal.
I completely agree. So if you have a Black woman in your life, you better lift her up, not just in February, but the rest of the year because she needs it. Because Black women are the future, I'm convinced.
Absolutely.
They truly are. So now I want to talk a little bit about your event that you're putting on, Ashley. Tell us about 21 Sundays.
So 21 Sundays is a series of monthly pop-up shop events exclusively featuring businesses owned by Black women.
Nice.
I came up with the idea because I myself am an entrepreneur. I make intentional candles. I'm also a photographer, but I make intentional candles, and just realizing the struggles that I, have faced in trying to get my business off the ground, I was like, I couldn't possibly be, I'm not the only one facing these challenges. And then I started doing like research to find out if I was feeling this way due to, just a personal response or if there was truth in what I was experiencing. And like, the statistics are ridiculous. I mean, despite Black women being the most educated group in the country, and despite Black women creating businesses at a much higher rate than any other demographic.
Probably with less resources, too.
Absolutely, with much less resources. That's the problem. It's like we're not getting approved for business loans. Investors aren't investing in our businesses. We don't have access to the resources that everybody else has. Even when we do receive investments, it's like we get, it's 0.006% of everybody else. And we get maybe $42,000 compared to $1 million, like for, a white guy will receive from an investor. We don't have access to those resources, and we're also not getting mentorship either. And so because of all of these obstacles, we're competing on a playing field that isn't level. And so our businesses are failing. It's like, yeah, we're starting these businesses, but how do we not just survive, but thrive and create generational wealth?
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's virtually impossible, but really it is. And
It
so
feels that way for sure.
it definitely feels that way. But like, you know, we make shit happen. We, you know, apply for grants and enter competitions and whatever. So there are always these ways to remedy whatever your problems are. But I also, as an entrepreneur starting my business, like I just felt overwhelmed and isolated. And so I came up with the idea to start a pop-up shop, not just for me, but for other Black women entrepreneurs. And my intention is to combat these challenges by creating an expanding community, generating awareness for these brands, and also providing an opportunity to form relationships with Black women entrepreneurs who have achieved levels of success.
I applaud you because you saw a need that you needed. And you're like, you know, I'm going to do it myself. I ain't going to wait for anybody to do it. And that's what you have to do. You kind of have to just take initiative and go for it. So that's incredible. So how many brands are participating in 21 Sundays, or how many small businesses?
So for the 23rd, 8 brands are participating.
Okay, great. And the 23rd is the first one you're doing.
The 23rd is the first one.
And where in LA is it taking place?
It's taking place at the Almost Studio in Mid-City, Los Angeles.
Okay.
The address, should I give you the address?
Yeah, please do.
It's 1287 South Citrus Avenue.
Okay. Great. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so. Is there a wide variety of businesses? Like what type of businesses are going to be there?
Right. So it's a wide variety of different sort of products. They're all tangible products,
Cool.
right?
Great.
So I'm vending my intentional candles, yes. But we've got a lady who makes CBD infused lip balm and also CBD infused lubricant.
Hey,
Okay.
There's a consumer for everything.
Wow. Yeah.
We've got a lady who makes these gorgeous genuine leather bags and accessories. We have a lady who makes baked goods, and then jewelry, special cards for all occasions. Like she'll literally, like she has these boxes with pop-up cutouts of like hearts. It's so beautiful.
I love it.
Also, there's a woman there with Screening Room LA. Her business is Screening Room LA, and it's an opportunity for people to share their people of color to share their independent films. And so she'll be vending T-shirts with slogans that advocate for Black filmmakers.
That's incredible.
I'm
gonna look that up.
I know I'm missing something.
But just, I mean, it sounds like you have a great
But
variety.
yeah, we've got a
is
great
incredible.
variety, and there'll even be a Reiki practitioner there offering
awesome.
mini sessions too.
How did you go about finding all of these different vendors?
Oh my gosh, I just called people.
Yeah.
I emailed people. I asked friends to ask their friends. I posted in different groups on Facebook. It's just all, I mean, so Rika D, she makes Vith Skin. Her company is Vith Skin. She's the one that makes CBD infused lip balm. I actually knew her. She's a makeup artist, and we met on set. Of this independent film, and she had her lip balm on set that she was putting on the actors. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden.
Because you're excited, passionate.
You're passionate about it. I love
and
it.
everybody was raving about this lip balm because it just was so healing for their chapped lips. Because you normally, when you're on set, you just don't think to drink water.
Right.
And so she was one of the first people I contacted because I just remembered her. But mostly everyone else is just, and Melanie Irvin, the one who makes the leather bags. They're gorgeous. I met her working on 20s, actually. She was the hairstylist. And so this is like her side hustle.
That's amazing.
So yeah, community.
I love it. So if people want to find out more information about this and you and how they can either just attend or maybe possibly be a vendor, how should they find you and get in touch with you?
You can check out our website, www.21sundays.fun. And we're also on.
I love it.
Okay. Okay.
We're also on Instagram, and the handle is at 21 Sundays.
Very cool. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm excited about this event. I can't attend this month, but I'm excited to
come to March. The next one is March 29th.
And is it a specific Sunday of every month?
The last Sunday of every
month. Last Sunday of every month. Very cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much. We got a couple more episodes left, and then I'm popping this baby out because good Lord. I am tired, but I'm hoping to give birth to my own little entrepreneur and empower her as well. So make sure, thank you so much. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.
And this episode of We Need to Talk is brought to you by Black Brew, the darkest, richest, boldest coffee anywhere.